You are listening to The Shadow of Islam, a new perspective. Join us as we discover the Islamic dilemma, the deceptions and false teachings of Islam, so that you can be more equipped to present the gospel of Jesus Christ to this faith group. Good morning and welcome to another episode of A Shadow of Islam. I'm going to take a little deeper look into an Islamic tactic called diversion. This is a tactic Islamic apologists use, which is an activity which is intended to attract people's attention away from something which they do not want their followers to see, or think about, or know about, or understand. Because if they do, it reveals the truth about the Islamic goal or intention. So let's have a look at some of these diversion tactics used by Islamic apologists.
The Christian missionaries argue that the gospel of Jesus basically is the four gospels.
So first we have one clear blanket statement, and we'll see later on if this stands up to any kind of reasonable test. But let's just see how he clarifies this.
If you go to verse 46, it clearly states that the gospel, one message was given to Jesus Christ. So here
we have Adnan making his second blanket statement with no evidence. Simply saying there are 4 eyewitnesses reporting on the same message, which gospel means, of Jesus' life, death and resurrection. Therefore, it can't be true. To agree with Adnan's methodology would then mean we would have to accept that 9/11 never ever happened because more than one person reported on the historical event. How ludicrous is that?
the current Bible in the hands of the Christians and the Jewish people is not pure.
Notice what Adnan does here is he takes his belief and tries to force that into the biblical narrative. Now the way he does this, he's saying there is only one gospel given to Jesus Christ. But the Gospels were never given to Jesus Christ as far as the biblical narrative goes. We know that was written by the eyewitness accounts, the disciples. So which remains the question. So look at the deception here again. The question still remains is, where is this book, the Injil, which was given to Jesus Christ? See, it avoids that issue. Now, do yourself a favor. Go and play Dr. Google and type Injil, I-N-J-E-E-L, into Dr. Google, and you will find there is absolutely no reference to any scholar's writing of the Injil, no picture of an Injil, no discussion on any blog about the Injil, no video about an Injil. It's just disappeared. And this is what Islam needs to answer. If the Quran is correct and true, and it says that Allah gave a book to Jesus and He's protected His word, where is this book called the Injil? Muslims cannot answer that question.
Question that the Bible is corrupt. The current Bible in the hands of the Christians and the Jewish people is not pure.
So finally, what I want to point out here is what Rashid does here is he's claiming from the Quran that Jesus held the Torah and the Psalms in his hand. So in other words, that must have been true. Then he goes and says, but the current Torah and Psalms that we have are corrupted and not pure. How do you reconcile this when you have the Dead Sea Scrolls dating 1,000 years before Jesus, 400 years before Jesus, which is exactly the same as the current Bible we have in our hands today? He cannot reconcile this, and I challenge him to do so. I want to thank you for listening to today's episode of A Shadow of Islam, a true perspective. If you'd like to support us, please go to patreon.com/diggingdeeper SA. Thank you.